Hey everybody! Welcome back to Northernlion, plays Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus, not the Lost. It's Eden. Feeling like we're at cruising altitude. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Great stats, except for HP. SRL39RZV. Few complaints. Don't take that pill. There's only a few rules I follow in life. You don't copy that floppy. You don't Control-C that CD. You don't Control-V that MP3. You're probably noticing a little meme, or a little pattern, I should say here. But what is a meme? Yeah, a miserable little pile of secrets. Oh, ooh, it's better to be lucky than good. Ain't that the truth? So we went from 2 hearts to 1 heart to 3.5 hearts. That's a nice place to be, and I almost squandered it by walking in there. Honestly, we should expect that the straw will probably work out in our favor. It might seem like we got saved. I don't really think we got saved. I think we're definitely better, obviously. And I'm, you know, for peace of mind's sake, I'm happy to have the extra HP that we do have. But all we needed was a bomb at some point to get that tinted rock anyway. Seraphim is fine. Okay, it's just a bunch of spiders. Merry Christmas. Yo, incredible. I will try. Ah! It's alright. It's one of the most valuable skills you can practice in Isaac, walking between spikes. I don't know what it is. If I see the spikes, I can walk between them. Otherwise, I'm walking right into them. Doesn't make any sense to me either. But this is an insanely great floor so far. Who would have thought we could have gotten this many spirit hearts without even being able to open that tinted rock? So the only logical explanation is that that tinted rock must... He went between the rocks. Did you see that? The tinted rock must have a small rock in it. Unfortunately, we have no means whatsoever to access it, but still. It's a good day still. I'm again embarrassed to even admit it, but it is still the day that is known as Christ Mass. Haven't recorded a ton today, but it's really, again, Christmas is not a day. Christmas is a state of mind. It's a day when your family's all together, watching 8 consecutive games of NBA basketball on ABC. It's the day when you get a sweater from your grandma, and you open it up, and she goes, "Is that your size?" And you gotta be like, "Yeah, I'm a small." It's the thought that counts, you know? Especially, I mean, as a kid, it's a little different, I think. You know, yes, this will continue the holiday arc. The holiday, we went Java, Jeopardy, holidays. I don't know what the next arc is going to be. It could be class again. I'm not sure. World Junior arc is probably among us as well. I didn't even talk about it, actually. Let's get off the holiday arc. So we went to the first pre-tournament game for the World Juniors. I'm not calling anybody out. All right? Sort of. We sat down in our seats. And then in we were like 3 minutes late. But in one of our seats that was written right there on the old ticket was a woman's coat and purse. So I said, "Excuse me, this is our seat." And she said, "No, actually, we have this one." And I said, "Here's my like officially printed out ticket. And, you know, here's the section, here's the row, and here's the seat number." And she said, "Well, we have tickets for the whole tournament." And I said, "Yeah, me too. And the seats that are for the tournament are these ones right here." And then she pulled out her ticket. I don't want to be petty, okay? She pulled out her ticket, and she was like, "Look, they're the same." And I said, "No, they're not. See, our section is blank, blank, blank. Your section is blank, blank, blah, blank." And then she looked at it and she went, "Oh my God." And then this is where a normal interaction, any Canadian under the sun would say, "I'm so sorry." Because not sorry for being mistaken, but sorry for, you know, existing. That's what we do. We just apologize. It's not really a big deal. You know, I expect it to have like a 1/4 chance of happening whenever I'm at an event. It's like, you're in my seat, I'm in your seat, whatever. Instead of saying sorry, she said, well, turns out our seats are better now. I went, all right, lady, well, see you never. Luckily, we don't have to sit next to her for the next week and a half. So I think that really we got the win out of that one. But that, I guess I don't know if she meant it in such a snarky way, but I guess she was embarrassed that she made a mistake and was politely called out on it. Not even called out on it like, hey lady, you're in the wrong seat. More like, hey, your bag and your coat are in my wife's seat. Actually, I purchased 20 of these tickets for my bag and my coat. Good sir, I'll have you know. Anyway, maybe she didn't mean it like that. I'm looking at this in the worst possible light. But that was every time I go to the arena, or almost every time, you get like, you know, one example of human beings kind of behaving badly. And honestly, I'm glad it was that example because it only affected me. And that sounds, you know, superficially selfless, but, you know, a lot of the times, you know, an excuse to yell combined with a lot of alcohol and then occasionally misery, it can lead to some situations where I'm like, you know, it's not good. It's not a good example for the little kiddos here, is what I'm saying. Like we were, you know, we're Team Canada. We're favorites, maybe not to win, but always favored to have a chance to win at least. We were playing against Finland in one of our home arenas. It was 4-2 with 5 minutes left in favor of Finland. People were getting a little rowdy, even though it's a pre-tournament game. Like, the vibe, I'm not going to say it was turning riotous. I'm not trying to insult my own city. All I'm saying is, fool me once, Axl Rose, shame on me. Fool me twice, 1994 hockey riots, shame on you. Fool me 3 times, 2011 Stanley Cup riots, won't get fooled again, you know? So, like, there were 4, maybe 4.5 minutes left in the game, and one of the guys in front of us had, like, his young kid there, and they just left, and I was like, that's a smart dad. Probably nothing will happen. Realistically, no comebacks happen. It's unlikely, at least. I was like, that's a dad who knows what's up. When I saw other people leaving, I was like, I get it. You want to beat traffic. I understand. But when I, you know, go to see a game, I'm like, I'm staying till I paid for this till the end. 99.9% chance we lose. 0.1% chance that I'll be the guy who walked out of the greatest comeback in NHL or in IIHF history. But if you got a kid with you, and I don't know, there was like a... It's kind of, I don't mean this to sound, you know, again, anti-alcohol, but it's just kind of embarrassing sometimes. You see a dude that's like your age, and he's like slurring his words, yelling at the ref, and has his head in his hands, like, you know, we lost to Finland in the pre-tournament game. Somebody has to pay. The dude was like, it looked like he wanted to square up against the referee, and I'm like, you know, this is like hockey, right? It's not like, it's not something that actually really matters that much. And I'm like, you know, I want to win as much as the next guy. I'm just saying, you know, at the end of the day, you're just hitting the puck with the ball. It's not that big of a deal. So, you know, if you're going to those games, have fun, no question about it, but also remember decorum. And please don't riot. Now that I live in the city, I have like this nightmare. And I can tell you exactly how, if there's going to be a riot, how it'll happen, okay? It's very simple. Canada makes the gold medal game and then gets blown out. It doesn't matter what team it's against. It would probably be worse if it's against the U.S. We have like, it's a little brother syndrome for sure. So that's what I'm like, God willing, like either, and I don't know, maybe I'm jinxing us, but kill us off in the semifinals or at least let the final game be competitive. If Canada loses 5-4 in overtime, nobody's going to start flipping over buildings. There's not enough time to get the riotous energy going, you know? It's only going to be if it's like 4-0 going into the third period. People are going to get increasingly drunk and miserable and be like, we're going to start a riot. So hopefully that doesn't happen. I don't think it will. I'd give it like 15% odds if I had to handicap it. I'm sure that, like, when we went to the game, there were like RCMP officers brandishing assault rifles. And I was like, dude, you don't see this at any... you don't see this in Canada very often. Although I will say there was... We went and we saw what's called the Celebration of Light. And it's a fireworks festival. It's not like it's inherently dangerous. There's just a lot of people. Dude, I'll tell you what, I'm going to start with the ability to fly, and then this scares me, so I'm not going to do it because of Curse of the Unknown. So, yeah, Curse of the Unknown. Curse of the Unknown, you got me, all right? I think we probably could take it, but I'm not willing to risk it. I took the coward's way out here. It's not like people are like, I'm going to, you know, start something at the Festival of Light, the fireworks celebration. It's more like there's maybe a few 100,000 people in a pretty condensed space. So I was walking in like the west end of Vancouver, and I saw like an RCMP officer on a roof with a sniper rifle, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Heaven, that's like, it's extremely, I wouldn't say unnerving, but it's out of character for Canada for sure. And this is gonna sound like a shot at America. I don't mean it like that. But when I'm in like an American airport and I see like a police officer with a gun, I'm like, yeah. You know, I get it. When you're going to see a fireworks festival and you see RCMP on the roof of a building with a sniper rifle, you go, hold up a second. I'm just here for the fireworks? Okay, well, this is weird. How was I able to pick up a half red heart if we're exclusively on Spirit Hearts? And I say we're exclusively on Spirit Hearts because... Wait, did I just pick up... I guess we picked up a bone heart from Brittle Bones. Okay, so that explains that. Which actually means if our... And we'll take half of a... Nope. Well, I mean, we still did, but... ignore that tangent. I was mathematically off base. But we can actually take Eye of Belial now. Minimum, we'd have half a Spirit Heart, but we don't have the option. Maybe that's for the best. Anyway, I don't want this to be a prediction. I hope... Oh, we would have been totally fine. We would have been beyond totally fine. Because I guess from Brittle Bones, that's the one that actually gives you 6 Tear Hearts. Or Bone Hearts. I hope that, you know, this video doesn't come out and then, like, the gold medal game is that night and there's a riot. Because, you know, for the Guns N' Roses riot, I was like, I didn't live here. For none of the previous riots, I've lived here. Now I live here. So I'm like, please don't screw up my city because of hockey. I beg you. I work so hard. Well, I mention it many times. Try to defend my city. Yeah, the houses cost, well, $1.2 million each, but at least the coffee's good. And then if you go and burn them down... because of a hockey tournament that I'm also passionate about, it'll be like I'll evolve into a full-blown misanthrope. There's no question about it. So save me, please. We'll see, though. We'll see. Maybe it'll be great. I'm not trying to focus on the negative. Maybe Canada will win, and it'll unite the city in a rare bit of civic pride. And the lady who misread her ticket and then was embarrassed about it will look at me and I'll look at her and make eye contact. And then I'll give her the middle finger and she'll say, you know what, I deserve that and I apologize. And I'll say, you know what, I apologize for defaulting to my basest instincts in this moment. And then, you know, we'll all pretend to be friends temporarily. It'll be like a good bonding moment. That would be ideal. Because, you know, like, explaining to your parents that you got, like, a bad mark on your report card is one thing. Try having them in your city, and then, like, a riot breaks out. The city you chose to live in. You're like, listen, Mom, you don't understand. Civic tensions are at an all-time high. It's been a really hard semester for Vancouver, okay? Don't let me down, boys. Full stop. Because I think, I mean, I definitely told you. But we had the same thing happen when we saw Canada lose to Germany in, at the Olympics, you know, where we were like, you know, it sucks. You know, you don't want to be in attendance at, like, one of the... I mean, I understand the context surrounding it, by the way, with no NHL players and, like, you know... If Germany was ever going to beat Canada in an important game, that was probably the most likely time for it to happen. But still, and I'm not taking anything away from the German team, it's like one of the biggest upsets in Canadian international hockey history on one of the largest stages, you know? And when I was coming back from the game, I was like, that's disappointing. And then there was a dude on the train who was just insanely drunk and, like, yelling at his girlfriend and, you know... Clearly, the hockey game had been like a catalyst for it. I think that was one of the most valuable experiences of my whole life, to be present for that. Because I was not in danger of, like, losing it. But simultaneously, as soon as I saw that guy losing it, and he was, like, you know, my age or maybe even a little bit older, I was like, oh my god. It's sports, dude. Relax. I get everybody here's in the same boat. You know, we flew from a different country, came to watch the game. Yeah, I like that. But, you know, it happens. It's a little stick and ball. You don't have to worry about it too much. Life goes on. It's definitely not worth, you know, alienating the person you came to Korea with, who appears to be, you know, close to you, at least temporarily. I hope that guy has had, like, you know, that's become, like, his ground, his rock bottom is the word I'm looking for. Not the chain from, you know, the brew pubs in the United States, but I hope that now he's doing better. It's been almost a year. Hope you're okay. You know, being passionate about sports is fine. You know, it's a hobby like anything else. But being insane about sports is, like, extremely embarrassing. And this is one I don't even feel the need to, like, apologize for. But it's true for anything. I'm not being anti-sports, obviously. You know, because you might think, well, NL, I don't get your tweets about the Canucks. Yes, of course, but, like, when the Canucks lose, which is more frequent than the opposite, I don't go like, "Gah!" Like, throw something at the wall. Freaking refs cost us a game, boys. What's up with that? How much did the Department of Player Safety pay you to not call that? I don't... Conspiracy strikes again. That's where I get worried about it. Also, I want to point out, I love my country, but, you know, Canadians, hockey elitists. No question about it. And I'm sure every country's got this as something. Like, you know, let me use Norway as an example. Because they're not in the tournament. But, like... We're very insulting sometimes. We'll be like, oh, I gotta see that game. It's Canada v. Norway. I do it too. I'm not saying I don't. Gotta see that game. We're gonna blow them out. And if we lost, it wouldn't be like Norway played well. It would be like, this is a national embarrassment. But I imagine it's probably like the same if, like, you know, like Norwegians, if you were to lose in like one of the 15,000 cross-country skiing events at the Winter Olympics, especially to like... you know, someone from Jamaica, wouldn't you be like, you know, one part of you would be like, this is inspiring, but another part of you would be like, heads are gonna roll. How did this happen? We're the skiing country. I noticed that, like, after Finland played a really good game, goalie played amazing, a little bit of questionable refereeing, but, you know, probably within the bounds of normalcy. It's hard to tell whenever, like, Canada gets a penalty and 25,000 people around you all go, oh, come on! You're gonna call that? Just because he cut his throat with his skate? Kids are too soft these days. Anyway. Dude, per throw me, please? No, don't, you son of a gun. That's not worth it. You can't trick me. Where was I going with this? Anyway. But, oh, yeah, people were like, if this is the Team Canada that showed up to play in the World Juniors, that's embarrassing. So, yo, bro, they lost an exhibition game to a good country that played really well. Plus, it's just, you're so ignorant of the NHL caliber talent on the Finnish team. Kako. Yeah, that's his real name. Tolvanen. You know, you got some real, like, huge NHL prospects in there. And then you're like, the guys with the Leafs on their sweater lost to the guys with the blue shirts. That doesn't happen that often. Something's got to be wrong, you know? Anyway, I'm spitballing. We'll get over it. It's just a pre-tournament game. No reason to panic yet. I just don't want my country, you know, to be seen as this smug. And it's hard because I'm this smug. And I'm the guy who's like, can we tone it down for a week, please? But even I got a little annoyed. And it's unbecoming of me. But like, you know, we were walking to the train station from the arena. And then there's a ton of tourists in the city because of the tournament. And like, some of the tourists were walking in the bike lane. And then, like, a bike went by them. And there's a whole bunch of signs that are like, the ground is painted with a bicycle on it. There's signs that are like, hey, walk here, bike here. A bike went by them and, like, said, excuse me. And then they were offended. They were like, well, you see, the thing is, like, these cyclists, they think they own the lane. And I'm like, yo, bro, look at the lane. It's got a picture of a bike on it. They do own the lane. Sure, we should probably slow down. I don't relish being the cyclist defender, by the way. I know that it's an unpopular position to be in. But, like, you know, they should have their own roads where they drive. And then they're doing it and you're walking on it. And then you're like, well, he thinks he owns the road. Come on, you gotta cut him a little slack. Just look where you're going. And this is the kind of instinct that I have to suppress for the while our city is on the national stage, at least. Because I don't know how many countries outside of this watch the World Juniors. But anyway. By the way, how's the run? Well, we will not be doing boss rush. Unless we get something incredible here. Is good. I wouldn't say it's incredible. Maybe I could swing it if something better than that was in there, but that's okay. I think HP-wise we're okay, but we've had a couple Curse of the Unknown that leave me a little bit twisted up. Anyway, it's Christmas Day still. What are my plans for the rest of the day? You might laugh, okay? We did, like, our family Christmas stuff, as mentioned, was done on Christmas Eve. Kate and I are going out for a nice dinner. Again, I gotta tell you. We keep, every passing year, and many of you are probably in the same boat. Whenever I talk to my family or Kate's family, we get the talk. You know, not the talk when you're, like, 12, that's like, you know, the birds and the bees, but the talk of, like, you know, after playing tag with kids and pretending to be bad at it for like 2 hours, they're like, don't you want some of your own now? And you're like, well, maybe like a little before I showed up here. Now I've realized it turns out having a child is actually hard work. So we get that talk every year. But I gotta tell you, we have like our own little talks with ourselves that sometimes are even like non-verbal, you know? And we're like, hey, it's Christmas Day. You know what we're going to do? Spoil ourselves with, like, a really, really nice meal that we definitely could not do if we had, like, a 2-year-old. Is there any Oikos yogurt here? Do you guys have Oikos yogurt? Luther is very picky. No, instead we're like, dude, give me the creme fraiche harissa or something. I'm just making up. Gosh darn, harissa. Harissa explains it all. Many, many jokes coming through in my head right now. But, I'm just saying, you can't take a kid out for some Kraft baba ganoush. It's harder. It's nice to... I mean, I'm sure it's nice to have kids as well. It's also nice to be childless, though, is what I'm trying to get across. I'm not one of those... I know there's a quote-unquote child-free community out there, and I support that. I don't come from a family where, you know... my parents are like the most meaningful part of your life is having kids. So I even though I'm like, hey, you know, just tell your parents you don't want to have kids and then, you know, they'll be fine, forehead, you know. Even though I don't have the experience of having parents who are like really high pressure about it, I get that some people out there, you know, they grew up in different environments where having a community of people whose only unifying element is not wanting kids is necessary, maybe. But you know, and for those of you out there who maybe are on the other side of the coin. You know, I'm sure seeing the joy on your child's face light up, when they get a Christmas gift that they wanted. It's probably, it's like vitamin D right to the cerebral cortex. But it's also pretty sick to be like, I'll take the halibut, please. And yes, I will have another. You know, it's like I'm enjoying this period of my life before it's probably gone forever. And I got like, I can remember like, I really value this, and I've said it, like the late December to January corridor. You know what I have really fond memories of from 2 years ago? You're gonna laugh. Playing DayZ King of the Kill. Got introduced to it in like December of 2016. Yeah, that sounds right. And then just like, didn't have that much to do. So I was like, dude, I spent like an hour a night on the holidays playing King of the Kill. And it was back when Battle Royales felt so fresh. And you were like, yeah, dude, a 4-minute queue to get into a game. That seems... Waiting 4 minutes to play H1Z1 seems like a good use of my time. It's just, it's a nice time. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers. I mean, it doesn't really matter much, but like, that's what I'm gonna take. I don't think this run is great, kind of. I don't think we've really gotten super lucky with like the way items have shaked out for us. Shook out? I don't know. It's one of those words in English where however you conjugate the past tense is fine by me. Because you know what? The answer is just decided by somebody at like the New England Guide of Style, you know? 45 years ago, somebody went, it's not octopuses, it's octopodes. And then everyone was like, yeah, moron, you didn't know that? Everyone's just pretending like that's common sense. When it actually is octopuses, octopodes, and octopi. It's called Latin. It's called Greek. Look it up, sweetheart. You know, there's no... Same way there's no wrong way to eat a Reese's. There's no right way. Conjugate octopus. Sounds like a Raymond Carver short story collection. You know what I've got a bone to pick with? Is that a... Now that one might be indefensible. The expression, that is. Not what I was about to say. Movie theater concession stands. I know, it's expensive. No, not that, but yes it is. No question. And I know theater owners make so little money. Bro, all our theaters in Canada are owned by the bank. They already got all our money. The more they have, the more they're going to lose to Bernie Madoff. Okay? Where was I going with this? But anyway, here's the thing. You know, I don't like paying $17 for popcorn and 2 drinks at the movie theaters. But it is what it is. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? I will overpay for popcorn. You got me. I'm an irrational consumer right now. They've culturally, like, infected us. They're like, if you go to the movie, I'm not quite at the level of, like, if you're at the movies, you have to have popcorn. But when I think of going to the movies, the number one thing I think of right off the bat is the movie. Number 2 is, like, maybe I'll get some popcorn. And I only do it, like, maybe once every 3 times. But still, that's enough to keep me hooked. Here's what I have a problem with, because I have no self-control from a culinary and gastronomic standpoint. Why are all of the combos 3,500 calories of food that nobody on planet Earth needs to consume? We went to see Bumblebee, and it's been a good month, all right? So I said, here, hey, Jerome, that's my financial advisor. Jerome, can you sell some of my Tesla stock? I'd like to buy a combo at the movie theater. And he said, yes, sir, Mr. Letourneau. And I said, Jerome, you remembered that I told you not to call me by my first name. All right. He says, yes, sir. Okay, selling 1% of your Tesla stocks, sir. Okay, so then that's a joke. I don't own any stocks, which, by the way, owns this month. Anyway, my condolences. Regardless, where was I going with this? In a different direction than the NASDAQ. I don't know anything about economics. I'm just trying to make people upset. So I got a combo. Kate was like, I want a drink. And I was like, you know what? I want a drink too. We're in sync like that. I don't think we need a sack dagger here. I think we're good. So I got a combo. It was a popcorn of... Every popcorn size is a large, okay? They don't sell small popcorns. So I don't know. It could have been a quote-unquote small. But it was not small, obviously. And it came with 2 drinks. And then the person that was serving me was like, what candy do you want? And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, the combo comes with any candy from the top row. Which is by itself sort of... I don't even know what to say, but it's kind of insulting. I don't know if the top row is the top shelf, or if the top row is like, hey, here's the budget candies, because you didn't buy the Godzilla combo. I don't know. Like, as soon as they say any candy from the top row, I'm like, all the stuff in the bottom row starts to look mighty delicious, even if it's Raisinets. Don't at me. And I go, I don't know, Skittles, safe bet. So I come back, I got 2 drinks that are like, you know, a liter, probably like 1.2 liters each. A bag of popcorn that, like, I ate all through the trailers and the previews, so, you know, like an hour and a half. And it was like a quarter done, and I was physically stuffed to the point of not being able to eat anymore, but I did eat a little more anyway, because, I mean, you only live once. Didn't need to blow this up, but that's okay. And then just out of nowhere, they're like, hey, you want to throw, like, a bag of sugar on top of that? And I was like, no. And they were like, well, you gotta. So... enjoy. Look, I get it. It's like it's like cable, right? You bundle a lot of things together so that you're buying a lot. And even though the people only wanted the popcorn, maybe even some people are like, I only want the drink. But instead, they're like, well, I did spend 20 bucks on it, but I look at it, I got these 4 things I didn't want. I wanted the Food Network. In order to get the Food Network, I also, for some reason, had to buy the sports package. And now I've got, you know, 8 local news affiliates from the closest major American television market that I don't even understand. But a free preview of HBO once a year during the off-season. In case I want to catch up on the Deuce. Regardless. It's just... I mean, I don't have a solution to fix this because I bought it, so I'm part of the problem. And I'm okay with being part of the problem because the popcorn was good, at least for like the first 20 minutes. But, like, if you even... The controversial, mildly opinion, if you even kept it the same price but didn't sell the candy, I might be happier. But once I have that candy in hand, I can't just throw it in the garbage can. There's, like, competing influences in my brain, which are, like, one part of my brain, the part that's, like, trying not to have a heart attack in your 40s, is, like, this is garbage. You'd be better off putting it in the garbage. And then one part of my brain... is like, we live in a world with scarce resources. You can't throw anything out. You gotta turn it into something. So what I end up turning it into is I take it home, put it in the drawer, and then one day when my self-control is weak, I grab a couple of handfuls, and then I turn it into flesh. And that's... the enduring legacy of the movie combo. It doesn't just get you that day, you know? Now they're sticking around. It's like you're getting something to go and to stay. That got a little too real, though. You saw, like, a little peek inside of my brain. And not the cool part that's like, okay, Oliver Ekman Larson, you know? The part that's referential. It's the part that's real. And now you understand why I can't explain to my niece how to become a YouTuber. I'm like, oh, just bare your soul to an anonymous audience, and eventually, once you get some traction, never stop doing the thing that got you traction. She's not gonna understand that, so I gotta be like, just open some toys and smile a lot. And for God's sakes, don't ever make a pot play. Or play tumble seat. Easy win. Wasn't always set, but And, you know, the run was not particularly great, I think, until we picked up Maw of the Void, particularly for the damage upgrade. But for now, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. And, of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. See ya.